Hi, my name is Lisa, I'm 38 years old, and this is my story of revenge on my husband Rick, with whom I was married for 10 long years. Rick and I were neighbours and childhood friends before we started dating. After a few years of our marriage, when we were trying to conceive. That's when we got to know that due to some specific underlying medical issues, my chances of conceiving a baby were poor, and I might never be able to bear a child. I was devastated by this news because I was passionate to become a mother. I had those motherly instincts and had always wanted children. The doctor insisted that we be hopeful and keep trying. Despite the chances being low, the odds could still turn in my favour. While I broke down with this news, Rick was supportive of my condition and promised to stay with me forever, no matter what. I was relieved by his support. However, with each passing year, my hope of becoming a mother faded away. Eventually, we embraced the status of a childless couple. It was almost after 10 years of our marriage when I finally got the news I had been eagerly waiting for. I tested positive in my pregnancy report. I still remember that day and the next one so vividly. When people say roller coaster ride, I think they refer to the incidents that happened to me on those 2 days. As I received the unexpected news of my pregnancy, a wave of heavenly happiness washed over me, engulfing my heart and soul. The sheer joy and anticipation that flooded every nerve of my being were beyond words, igniting a radiant glow within me. I was so surprised by this unexpected news that I verified it with the nurse quite a few times. My doctor explained to me that very few women can conceive with that medical condition and that I was lucky to be one of them. She also warned me to be extra careful during the gestation period. Every cloud indeed has a silver lining. I couldn't wait to break that news to Rick. On my way back home, I planned several ways to announce my pregnancy to Rick and imagined him to be happy like a dog with 2 tails. I reached home to find Rick lying on the couch and engrossed in his phone screen. I rushed towards him and hugged him. He was already surprised at my young puppy love gestures.
"What's up with you? Everything all right?"
I hugged him even more tightly, saying, "You're going to become a father, Rick. I'm finally pregnant. We're going to have a baby." I thought that he would be thrilled and elated with the news and would shed happy tears with me, hugging and caressing me, but nothing like that happened. After hearing the news, Rick held my shoulder and gently pushed me away from himself.
"What? How? How can this be possible? You were infertile, weren't you?"
I know it's unbelievable. It was no less than a miracle to me when the doctor informed me about the positive report. I'm so happy, Rick. I'm finally going to be a mother.
Wait, are you sure about this?
Hell yeah! I can understand your dilemma. In fact, I also asked the doctor at least 10 times if she was sure about this, but yes, we are pregnant, Rick. I thought that he was shocked by this unexpected news, but what he said next gave me chills.
"This child can't be mine. You must have been fooling around with someone else, haven't you?"
What the hell? Have you lost your mind? How dare you make such outrageous allegations against me?
"Yes, you heard it right. This can't be my baby."
Rick said this agonizingly and left the house before I could say him anything else. Rick was unrecognizable. My world came upside down. I pinched myself to check if I was dreaming because of the series of unbelievable incidents which happened to me. First the news of my pregnancy and then Rick's denial. I couldn't believe my eyes and ears. Moments ago I was immersed in the joy of getting pregnant, and now I've been berated and despised by my husband on the allegation of an affair. I called up my mother-in-law, Anna, and narrated the entire incident to her, including the news of my pregnancy. I was unusually close to my mother-in-law. She was a very kind and loving woman. She rushed to my home to console me. "Don't worry, darling. I think Rick was just too surprised by this news. After absorbing this unanticipated news, he'll apologize to you and love you. Now cheer up. You're going to be a mother. I'm sure you'll be a wonderful mum." She tried to call him, but his number was switched off. She spent the night with me, taking care of me and cheering me up. The next morning, I woke up with a commotion in the house. Rick came home, unaware that his mother was there. Anna pounced on Rick as soon as she saw him. "How dare you leave Lisa alone in this condition? How can you speak such evil things about her? I wish I was here when you said that. I would have carved out your head to knock some sense into it. Apologize to her right now."
"I'm not going to do anything of that sort. I've had enough."
"What do you mean that you've had enough?" Anna was a bold and strong woman. She was the kind of woman who wouldn't hesitate to punch someone in the face for their evil deeds, even if that person is her son.
I've always listened to you, Mum. I was still a kid when I joined you in the cafe because you thought it was the right decision for the family. You asked me to marry Lisa because you thought that she was a good woman. And now you want me to accept this baby and apologise to her because you think she's right. I can't take this anymore.
Anna was shocked to hear Rick speaking in such a manner. Rick had always been a soft-spoken and well-behaved son. Anna and her husband, that is my father-in-law, used to run a cafe for their livelihood. Rick was little over 18 when his father passed away due to a sudden heart attack. Rick had to quit his studies and join his mother, Anna, to run the cafe. Rick was never passionate about studying further, nor did he ever complain about it until that day. Hence, it came as a shock to both of us.
Rick, what are you even saying? You joined the cafe because that was the only means of our livelihood. You married Lisa because you loved her.
Rick snapped at Anna without letting her complete her sentence.
Yes, I loved her, but I don't love her anymore. I've been carrying her like a burden just because of you. I know you are both close, but I've had this enough. I can't sacrifice my happiness anymore. I need to live my life the way I want to, and I don't want anyone to advise me what to do and what not. Okay?
Rick, what happiness are you talking about? You're going to become a father!
I don't want to become a father. I don't want this child. I don't want to have any family. The child is not mine, so let me enjoy my life the way I want to. I lost my mind with Rick's confrontation and I yelled at him.
What do you mean that you don't love me and this baby is not yours? How dare you accuse me of infidelity?
Look, I don't want to get into all this.
You can't run away from this. You have to answer this. How did my pregnancy news suddenly make you realise that you don't love me? And why did you never tell me that you didn't want a child?
Because I thought you were infertile and would never be able to bear a child. That's why.
What the hell? Does this mean that you were just playing with my emotions until now? Were you just acting to be supportive when I used to cry and yearn for a child?
Back off, don't be dramatic. I don't want to talk to you. I'm sick of your ugly nuisance. I'm making this straight for both of you once again. This child is not mine. I'm not going to take any responsibility for this burden.
He slammed the door in my face and left the house for the cafe. Anna and I were dumbstruck. There was certainly something wrong with Rick, which neither of us was aware of. After we recovered from our moments of shock, we decided to dig into the situation. Anna and I picked our brains to note down every possibility behind Rick's behaviour. The first reason on our list was an affair.
Do you think Rick is cheating on you?
I don't know. I've never seen him behaving unusually. He's never rude to me, although he's not as involved as he used to be. I guess it is pretty normal for the spark to fade away eventually after 10 years of marriage.
Okay. Do you think he has got involved in some cult practice also?
No, I don't think so. He mostly spends his time in the cafe.
Oh, wait. Let's begin our digging from the cafe. I still have access to our business credit card, which is used to make purchases for the cafe. Let's see if we find something there.
Anna quickly logged into the account to carefully scan through all the transactions of the credit card. After a few minutes of digging, she found something.
Why is he using this credit card to make payment for apparel merchandise and... Oh my God! $1,000? What? $1,000 on clothes?
He owns fancy clothes now, and I do notice that his fashion sense has also evolved and he prefers brighter colours these days, but I didn't consider that to be a matter of concern. However, I don't remember any of his recent shopping which would have amounted to $1,000. Sounds fishy to me.
Yeah! Again, there is a transaction of $500 at La Costa Bar and Restaurant.
When did he go out to this fancy dine-out place? $500 for a single meal!
There are so many more transactions in the current month cycle.
Honestly, I don't have the energy to dig into the previous statements. I know for sure that these transactions have to do something with Rick's changing behaviour. It was astonishing to see Rick spending such a huge amount on dining and clothing while he was complaining of dwindling sales in the cafe over the last few months. Rick had reduced my household budget from the last few months, citing low profit. When I told Anna about this, she was surprised too.
I'm surprised to know this. He told me the same story during the monthly business reconciliation. I highly doubt that the profit is dwindling. The cafe looks way more crowded than it used to be.
I thought he was saving some money for both of you, hence I didn't bat an eye. Had I known that he was reducing the household budget, I would have grilled him. He is lying to both of us quite evidently. Although we had evidence of Rick's embezzling money from the cafe for his mysterious lifestyle and manipulating the profit numbers on the monthly bank statements, it was still not concrete to derive any conclusion. Okay, let's do one thing. Can you call up your most trusted employee of the cafe and investigate Rick's routine at the cafe, and if they have observed any unusual behaviour of his? Yeah, I can check with Mike. He's my loyal employee. The information relayed by Mike had one important puzzle piece. Rick used to be away from the cafe for 2-3 hours every afternoon, and sometimes in the late evening during the closing hours. He appointed his senior staff, that is, Mike, to take care of the cafe while he was away. I was perplexed by this information. Isn't he supposed to go to the supermarket every afternoon to get the essentials for the cafe? You're right, that's been his routine for all these years, but it doesn't take more than 30 minutes. Anna and I brainstormed about several ways to find the next puzzle piece. We got into Sherlock mode again to brainstorm. Anna had a plan. My friend Maria runs a flower shop near the supermarket where Rick visits every afternoon. I'll ask her to dig up some information about his whereabouts. She took her phone and went to the balcony to talk to Maria. When she came back, her face was pale. I immediately knew that she'd the information we needed. Maria told her that she has often seen Rick near the supermarket, but for some reason, he was always in a hurry. He would complete the shopping within 15 minutes and hastily drive back. She'd even asked him once if everything was fine, to which Rick said, Yeah, everything is fine. It's just that I can't leave the cafe to the staff for too long, you know. Maria found this suspicious because after picking up the groceries, Rick drove the opposite direction, away from the cafe. She wasn't a nosy woman, hence didn't bother to discuss all these with Maria before. We were devastated because we knew that Rick used to be away from the cafe for more than 2-3 hours every day. This implies that Rick was having another stop before he came back to the cafe. I've asked Maria to follow him today after he leaves the supermarket. She said that she will send her staff instead so that Rick doesn't suspect that he's being followed. We waited patiently for Maria's call until the evening. Finally, Maria called, and what we had for us broke our hearts and shook our existence. Hey, Anna, my staff followed Rick after 15 minutes of driving. Rick stopped his car near a house and went inside it. Rick already had a key to the house. I have sent you the location. By the way, Rick is still in there. You can go and confront him. The phone was on speaker. My face turned red and I was shivering with anxiety. Anna thanked Maria and hung up the call. She told me, Let's go, sweetie. This is not the time to shed tears. I want to catch that monster red-handed. We hailed a taxi and went to that location. Anna went and rang the doorbell in such a rage that there was an echo inside the house that could be heard from outside. A young woman, probably in her 20s, opened the door, yelling, Who the hell? Anna rammed the door and went inside. Where's Rick? Rick! Rick! Rick came rushing from the bedroom. He was shocked to see us. He shouted in anger, What are you both doing here? I was frozen to death when I saw him coming out of the bedroom. Oh my God, you've been cheating on me. What a shameless and lousy man you are. Hours ago you were accusing me of having an affair, now see who's cheating on whom. What a dog. You're pathetic. Rick lowered his eyes and stared at the floor. The mistress came in front of me and said, So you are Lisa. Glad that you are here. Hey, listen, let me help you both. Rick and I are in love and we want to be with each other, but Rick is scared that if he divorces you, Anna would be at your side and take away his cafe from him. Rick tried to stop that lady whose name was Kayla. Kayla, stop, stay out of it. Let me speak. You've been giving me false hope that you'll marry me once the cafe is yours, but I don't think you'll get it till your mother is alive. She then turned towards Anna and said, Look, old woman, I love your son and he loves me. You should be happy that he's getting a young and beautiful girl like me. Why are you forcing him to stay with this old and hoary potato who doesn't have any fashion sense? Didn't you notice that Rick looks smarter now? His fashion sense has evolved. Trust me, he is happier with me. So, you two get rid of this old hag and let us live happily. Shut up! I don't want to talk to a freeloader! Rick has been siphoning money from the business to pay for your lifestyle. You are both disgusting. And Rick, you were waiting for me to die so that you could get the cafe and abandon Lisa. I'm never going to let that happen. You cheated on Lisa with this lousy woman. Tell me, why did you deny this child to be yours? Tell me! You've to open your mouth. Rick finally opened his mouth.
Yes, I denied it. Because I was scared. I wanted to get rid of Lisa. I didn't know what to do. I thought that Lisa would never have a child, hence it would be easier for me to get a divorce from her. Yesterday, when she suddenly told me about her pregnancy, I didn't know how to react. I have promised Kayla to marry her and live my life with her. She's young and beautiful and she makes me happy. I stood there numb, staring at Rick. He was not the person whom I loved. There was one more person who was shocked by Rick's confrontation. It was his mistress. Hey! Why didn't you tell me that your wife is pregnant? You cheated on me too! I trusted you and waited for you patiently to marry me, while you were busy making babies with your wife. Will you please stop it, Kayla? Let me deal with my family first. You did whatever you had to do. Now I'll safeguard my daughter-in-law and my grandchild. I'm going to change my will and transfer everything I have, including the cafe, to Lisa and my grandchild. I wish your father was here to smash your head and put sense into it. There was just too much commotion in the house, and I couldn't take it any longer. I was sweating profusely. Anna saw that I was turning pale and my body was shivering. She held my hand and took me outside the house. I heard Rick shouting at the top of his voice. You can't do that! The cafe is mine! I sacrificed my youth to scale up that cafe after Dad passed away! You can't take away my livelihood from me!
Rick kept howling at us, while his mistress abused and cursed him. It was all chaos. I was already zoning out, lost in a plethora of emotions. I never imagined that Rick would cheat on me, and that he was planning to abandon me. The man whom I loved and adored for so many years had turned into a devil who does not attack from the front, but the one who sucks your blood and soul like a parasite. Anna called up the lawyer that night and changed her will. I was devastated by all this. Anna consoled me and tried to put sense to me. Lisa, I know this is hard, but you should take care of yourself if you want the baby. I'm there with you. You need to be strong for the sake of your child. After wiping out my tears, I felt stronger to have Anna by my side. The next day she called up my parents and told them everything. My parents went into shock. My father wanted me to divorce Rick ASAP. He took me home and immediately hired a lawyer to file for divorce and alimony. Anna, too, was very supportive for the divorce. It's almost a year now from that fateful day. I gave birth to a beautiful little boy. Anna has abandoned Rick and has taken over the cafe from him, ripping him off from his livelihood. She has leased out the cafe to her nephew. My divorce is settled with Rick. The lawyer helped me claim alimony from Rick and his mistress, Kayla, on the grounds of infidelity. I got the child support too. After being abandoned by his mother, Rick had to take up a cashier's job at the supermarkets. His mistress too had to work hard to pay for the alimony. Anna visits us often to play with her grandchild. On her last visit, she told me that Rick came to her and fell on his knees, sobbing and apologizing for his mistakes. She informed me that his mistress has also broken up with him. He's leading a hand-to-mouth life after paying for the alimony and child support. He didn't have any savings either. He lost everything for his lust and foolishness. Anna might soften and forgive Rick after a while. I don't blame her. She is a mother after all, and Rick is her only son. But I don't care about him anymore. I'm living a happy and peaceful life with my son. I joined my father's photocopy shop after the maternity rest and plan to add a few more printers to scale up the business. I wish to give the best education to my son, and I hope he grows up to be an honourable